Hey folks, it's Fernando doing another video for More Survivalists. Pretty happy here with an email that I got from one of you guys that says, title subject is dual citizenship. And it says, hey Furfel, after reading about your grandfather's interest in this and how much it helped your family over the years, I looked into this for me and mine. After several dead ends, I think we finally found a way to get European Union citizenship for our family. Mostly it seems to be due to a great-grandfather that never got naturalized here in the United States. Going to work on this as a winter's project. This is from Sheepdog. Dude, you don't realize this kind of thing just makes my day. I mean, it makes me so happy to see that you folks understand and are going for this. Thanks for sharing this with me, and you will one day thank me for this. Maybe not you, maybe your kids, your grandkids, but you will be happy you did this one day. I mean, where to start? I've talked about this before several times. I wrote about this in my latest book, Out And Relocating, mentioned it in different videos. A second citizenship, especially a European citizenship that opens the entire European Union, it is the most powerful resource, the most powerful tool you could have, especially for worst case scenarios, especially for for life. I mean, and I know that you guys don't understand what I'm talking about. You probably think I'm crazy or it just doesn't make any sense because you're not looking at it from other than your own perspective. Maybe you're just not interested in any of this. Why would you want a second citizenship, a second passport? You're not planning on going anywhere. You think that way because you've never been in the position of desperately needing one. And I'm not talking just here about my own life experience or personal experience or my grandfather's experience with that. I'm detaching myself from that and looking at thousands, millions of people that suffer greatly for not having that piece of paper. That piece of paper that means that you're a citizen. That piece of paper that opens doors for you like nothing else. It's it's something that my grandfather, older, wiser, having gone through civil war in Spain, he knew that my parents, for example, they were not interested in it at all. They didn't care one bit about Spanish citizenship. Back then there wasn't even a European Union, so they didn't care about that. They were happy enough in their country, in Argentina, and having European citizenship meant nothing for them, or having Spanish citizenship meant nothing for them. But my grandfather, older, wiser, smarter in the ways of life, he just said, no, you just get this. Maybe one day it will be useful. He had gone through it himself after leaving Spain, moving to Argentina, and not having that piece of paper, not having that citizenship. He understood how important it was. And again, that may be your case. That may be your situation right now, watching this in the United States, happy as you could possibly be, not planning on going anywhere. Why would I want European citizenship? Why would I want a second citizenship of anywhere? You're not planning on going anywhere. Think about maybe your grandkids. Think about your children. Think about what's going to be happening 5, 10, 20 years from now. You just cannot know that. Another common argument is, I'm not leaving my country behind. I'm patriotic that way. It's treason. It's another tool in your toolbox. It's another tool that gives you more options. That's never a bad thing. That's never a bad thing. And you just don't know what it is that you're going to be doing, and you definitely don't know what your kids or your grandkids or your great-grandkids who are still going to be benefiting from this may end up doing. It's impossible to see that way down the road. You just don't know. I mean, where to start? Traveling. Let's suppose you like traveling, or you happen to be traveling. A second citizenship may get you through borders that your original citizenship may not. Your first citizenship may not get you through some borders that a second passport may get you through. Traveling, for example, with European Union, traveling across Europe like any other citizenship, like any other citizen. That's interesting enough. Maybe not. You're not planning on traveling anywhere. Okay, how about this? How about you being sick while traveling in any of these countries and having the right for free medical care just like any other citizen, not paying a single buck, you getting medical care. Not interested in that either. Let's suppose you get sick right now in the United States. You have super Obamacare taking care of you, and we know how wonderful that is. Let's suppose that something happens and you're not even able to afford that. Let's suppose that you need medical attention, medical care, and it's so expensive that you cannot even afford it. But because you bothered listening to this guy in YouTube, you got your second citizenship, and with that European citizenship, you have the right for medical care for free in some of these European countries. Would you not be glad you did that? Okay, let's think of something else. Let's suppose your kids or your grandkids down the road decide to study something that is much cheaper being studied in some European country. All right. And because they are citizens, because they are European citizens, they end up paying half of it, half of the fee, or maybe nothing at all. How about buying property in our countries? How about opening accounts in our countries, bank accounts, which we've talked with Jack Spirko the other day during the interview. Americans have the huge problem that in other countries, because of their American citizenship, banks in other parts of the world don't want to deal with the problem that it implicates to have an American opening an account with them, and it's either impossible or extremely hard for Americans to open accounts elsewhere. If you have a second citizenship, you may use that to open an account without any problem. Let's suppose you retire, all right, but you don't have a lot of money and you're looking at some of your options. How does it sound to end up maybe living in Spain, in Portugal, in the coast of France, as a citizen, retired, living there, not having to worry about medical care because it's covered for you for free over there because you have that citizenship. All right. How many folks end up moving to Costa Rica or other third world nations because they are looking for cheaper ways to spend their golden years, right? And Costa Rica maybe has a very cheap medical care. It's cheap, but it's usually not as good, not nearly as good as in other places. But the nice thing that it has for it is that it's cheap, pretty cheap. Now, in Europe, with your European citizenship, you have the right for medical care over there. Just a few of the options, of the possibilities that are opened if you bother right now to do this. Just look at your family tree. Just look at what papers you have. It's really not even that expensive. I mean, usually it's not expensive at all. It's just a matter of having the right ID. It may be a grandparent or a great grandparent's passport, ID, birth certificates, or even the military service ID piece of paper. Any of those things may help you depending on which country you're applying through. It's usually different. It's not the same thing through Spain, through Italy, or UK. It really depends on each country that you're applying through. But if you have someone, there's a good chance that you may have the possibility of applying for another citizenship. It may be through a spouse. May also be a possibility. There's there's lots of things to look into. Usually people just lose interest. They're not interested in it because they're not planning on doing anything themselves. Think about some of these things that I've mentioned, and just presenting them. Again, not expensive. It's usually more a matter of time. It's usually more a matter of presenting everything and waiting maybe 3, 4, 5 years. You may be thinking, I'm going to be bothering now for something that's going to be taking 5 years. No way. 5 years go by as you wouldn't believe. You just present everything, and before you know it, you have everything done. And once you have it, you can pass it on to the rest of your family, to your kids, to your grandkids. It's really it's not completely understood how huge an advantage it may be. You just don't know what's going to be happening. Maybe today you're not thinking about any of this, but the way things are today, I mean, man, who's knowing what's going to be happening? We barely know what's going to be happening next year, if that. Who can say what's going to be happening 5, 10 years from now? You have Russia pretty much bullying the United States into conflict. Same thing with Europe. You have a terrorist threats. You have the entire political map of the world today being redrawn in many parts of the world. You just don't know how useful that citizenship may be for you. The possibilities are huge, but it's something that you need to get it. You need to get it now, because when you need it bad, when you need it urgently, that's not the time. That's a little bit too late. So get busy now. Folks, of course I've written a lot about all of this stuff, how important it is and such, in my latest book, Bugging Out and Relocating, which is available in Amazon through the link below, for knowing how to live in times of complicated economic situations. In my first book, The Modern Survival Manual, Surviving the Economic Collapse, more of a bug-in, living the life that you are dealt with as of right now. Also the link available there below. For tomorrow, I'm going to be uploading, if I get it correctly, a little review of this pretty cool flashlight. This is a True Night T10T titanium flashlight. Pretty nice. Gonna be uploading that tomorrow if I get it correctly. Guys, take care. Remember to subscribe, thumbs up, share. See you in our next video. Have a great night.